I need an arm fuck on the back, welcome me back. You wanna yell till you fall, I can't give you that. You want fuck on the back, welcome me back. You wanna dance sag, you should welcome me back. You wanna fuck on the back, welcome me back. You wanna yell till you fall, I can't give you that. You want fuck on the back, welcome me back. You wanna dance sag, you should welcome me back. You should welcome, you should welcome, you should welcome, you should welcome back. You should welcome, you should welcome, you should welcome, you should welcome back.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Robe the King, and you are watching a very special edition of Robe Reacts. Today, I have with me here my lovely fiance, and by the time you hear this, or see this rather, it will be the last day that I will be saying that. So, how you doing, Imani?
You know, I'm happy to be here with you.
Is this your radio voice?
Yeah, you like it? It's my radio voice.
Okay.
I'm happy to be here with you.
Okay. I'm glad that you're here. So we got a lot going on. We doing some things, and we plan on partnering, obviously. But we plan on partnering more in this avenue. We'll tell you more about that at a later date, November 30th. So with that said, we're gonna do a reaction video. I hope y'all are enjoying Rovember as much as I am enjoying dropping content or having content be dropped on y'all heads every single day. I lost a subscriber, but it's all good.
You're gonna gain a couple more. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I ain't worried about it. You know, they wasn't for me. You know what I mean? That just meant you didn't want to hear from me, and that's okay. If you want to hear from me, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit me up in the comments. I will respond. I promise. Okay. So today we are getting ready to watch. And we going, you know how we do. We react to stuff live, and I haven't seen it. Have you seen the video that we about to watch?
I have not. I haven't even seen like clips on Instagram or anything.
I've seen small clips, but nothing too crazy to where nothing crazy, not a trailer or anything like that, to where I would even know where they are going remotely. So this is new to us. So we reacting to it. We are about to be newlyweds, and they're talking about family dynamics in unorthodox households. And this is Nick Cannon's show, apparently, featuring the doctor who is all the rage right now and is in everybody's minds right now, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who is a real doctor, that she confirmed recently on the Breakfast Club. She has 4 degrees, and you know what I mean? And yeah, 4 degrees, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, she has a doctorate in psychology and things of that nature. So all the people out there saying she's not a real doctor, she debunked that a minute ago. So you ready, Monty?
Let's do it.
Do you want to be called Monty on this, or are you Imani?
I like Monty. That's like it rolls off the tongue.
But what if other people start calling you Monty? You cool with that?
I only like when you do it, but call me Monty. Let's do it.
Okay, but
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if we walking down the street and somebody that you don't know goes, hey, Keith and Monty, or hey, Monty and Keith, you not gonna be mad?
I won't be mad. I'll just be like, you don't know me. It's okay. Monty is fine because you call me Monty, so I like when you do it. So if they do it because they know that you do, but I like Monty.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Monty.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. It's an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to be in a safe place where it's not about canceling, it's about counseling. And I am joined by the...
His lighting is trash, by the way.
You got to share the screen with me. I can't see it.
Oh, I thought I was sharing it. Oh, my bad. Okay. We gonna run it. Now I got to cut stuff out. I'm not cutting nothing out.
No, we keeping it raw.
Yeah, we doing. Yeah, we gonna keep it. Yeah, because I want to drop the. Yeah, we in the corner like this. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, my bad.
It's okay.
I was
Dr. Bryant Institute.
As I was saying, this lighting is horrible.
It's very
dark.
It's very practical. And
yes,
yeah.
it is. Yes, there's nothing like really shining on them. Right.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, it's a bunch of
And it is
practical
dark
light.
on her.
The light is on the what you call it?
The sign back
The
there.
sign. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the corners more than it is on them. Yeah.
Yes, it's and for those of you who don't know, practical lighting is just lighting if you're on a set or something, and it's just the light that it's like I think they're interchangeable, right? Like natural light and practical light, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm in the room and I got a lamp on, that would be considered practical light. You're not supposed to notice the studio lights and stuff like that. You're not supposed to notice them, but they are supposed to be there.
Yes,
That's what
as an ambiance, but
that's what
not
dad
as
going.
the source.
That's what dad going to show us. Sheesh.
For those of you who do
And
not know, we both come from a film and television background, so we are going to get critical with this stuff.
Yeah,
But
I'm going to try not to, but when it's noticeable, I can't help but point it out.
yeah.
And it looked lopsided. I think
Oh,
it's
the
the
camera? It
yeah.
does.
I think it's the chair. It's the chair and the sign. Nick, hire us. Give us a holler.
We gonna hook you up.
Yeah, because this is sheesh.
and I honestly, I've never had more reverence for an individual in this setting. Not only because she's truly a professional and kind of walks the walk and talks the talk, but she reads me. She puts me in my place and talks to me in a way that I receive it because she has over 17 years in her profession as a therapist and an expert in psychology, but also keeps it real. She ain't here cussing, calling, referring to, she's saying all the words. Let's just say that. And this is probably our third session. And I honestly want to have the opportunity. Welcome back.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to be back.
No doubt. I'm excited to talk about you. I mean, we generalized, conversations about, the Black woman in whole. We even talked a lot about, Black men. Specifically, we kind of dove into my life. But for those who may or may not know who you are and where you come from, I mean, I want to give you the opportunity to tell a little bit about yourself and share your story and your journey. First and foremost, where do you come from?
I come from
Do we need to know this?
which is a
Can I
community
speed
in
this
Los
up?
Angeles.
Can I
Yes,
speed this
you
up?
can. I watched
Okay.
the Cam Newton interview, so I know that I pretty much know her life story.
Why don't you
based
give
off of
us a
one question.
rundown? Why don't you give us a rundown, my dear?
Okay, I'm saying this in a judgmental way. So when in the Cam Newton one, when he asked her where she was from, she answered it in 10 minutes. And she talked about everything besides saying, I'm from LA. And I was like, wow, this is going to be exhausting already. I didn't watch it. I watched it against my will. My sister played it. And I was like, okay, I've been hearing about this girl. Like, let's take a listen. And yeah, it kind of felt like she was trauma dumping. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm curious as to see based off of like if criticism of others, maybe video reactions of others that she may have seen, or you know whatever, that how she will do in this this go round with Nick Cannon.
Okay. Apparently, this is their third time sitting down together. In this, at least.
Right.
Okay.
It's starting to feel like a therapy session.
Right. I mean, I think it is for him.
Oh.
It is.
Okay.
And I appreciate every time my parents put me first before them. And sometimes as humans, it's not always easy to put, even as your own children.
In my value
self-preservation is.
Oh, I'm here. Oh my Lord, Jesus. Sorry.
It's okay.
Did you hear him?
Yeah, I hear him.
Okay.
The first law of nature.
Yeah.
So, you got to take care of yourself, but still take the attempt to put your children's feelings before your own.
And I think that's why statistically, that's a big reason why the divorce rate is high, because of what you just said, people putting kids first. I beg to differ, even though my dad agrees with you too. He's the dad. He puts us first. He don't care who walks. We come first. So he's been an excellent father, but not the best of man, just being real. Me and him had debates where I say, Daddy, I don't agree with that. He's like, I'll never put a woman before you or even my mother. And I'm saying, I don't agree with that. When I have kids with my husband, we come first. Doesn't mean the kids go without, but when you have two adults who understand that we're showing learned behavior and we're teaching our kids what a healthy relationship looks like, not just for marriage, but also them. It doesn't mean that the kids don't eat and the wife and husband does. There's a hierarchy for me that goes God, my hubs, me, and then the kids.
I understand
and so
that.
the covenant.
What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with her. I feel like, sometimes some people choose maybe not necessarily the best partners and pertains to their kids benefiting or not benefiting, but the hope is that you choose the right partner to marry, if they're coming from a family, like if it's a blended home. And yeah, I mean, in our situation, it's going to be the same. Like it's God, it's me, it's you, and it's the kids.
Say it one more time. You said it's God, is
It's me. When I say me, I mean me. Sorry, I just gotta. Meaning me is in like I need to take care of myself to show up for you. So let me reframe that. Let me say it differently. It's God, it's my husband, it's the kids.
what hierarchy is this?
Our family dynamic. You know how some people say, would you put your kids? That's basically what she's saying. Would you put
Okay,
your
so you
kids
saying you would put me before this?
before the kids? Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. I wouldn't put them above you because
right.
we are the unit. We are the it's you. You're the head of the relationship. You're the head of the household.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to consult with the kid. I'm not going to come up to the kids and be like, what y'all think? No, I'm coming up to you and saying, what do you think? How should we move forward in these situations?
Yeah,
And it's going to be the betterment for them, of course.
yeah. I hear you. I agree largely. I think maybe it might be better if we say God, us, and then the children.
Yeah. God, us, and then the kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, from a hierarchy standpoint, meaning, I think oftentimes a lot of that, like that it gets interwoven a lot. You know what I mean? Like taking care of the kids is taking care of me. You know what I mean? Taking care of the kids is taking care of you. You know what I mean? Um, I don't think that we have an issue in knowing how much we care about these children. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so I'm trying to figure out like an instance where that might become an issue. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like who am I putting first in that instance? You know what I mean? I really look at it like, like who's your favorite girl in the world? Like, it's kind of like 1A, 1B. You know what I mean? It's not like a 1-2 thing. It's a, like I said, 1A, 1B. I remember my mother saying this. I asked my mother if she loved me like she loved my dad, right?
Mm.
And she said, I was very young and it made sense to me. Um, as much as it could make sense to someone that age, but I was like, Mom, do you love me like you love Dad? And she goes, No. She said they're two different types of love. He said, I love you as my son. I love your father as my husband. You know what I mean? They're two different
Yeah.
types of love. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I think when you understand the person's heart behind pretty much everything, it's easier to understand um that hierarchy and realize that hierarchy is kind of just like this. You know what I mean? It's not so much of a triangle as it is like this circle, if you will. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mhm.
Like where it's like, okay, yeah, God comes first. Then comes God comes first so that I can better, thank you, Lord. God comes first so I can better take care of my spouse. So then my spouse comes so that we can better take care of these kids. Then we can better take care of this neighborhood. Then we could better take care of this state. You know what I mean? And it goes around in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much everything stops because God. And then now y'all can't eat yet because your father. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's not so much that if you got a loving husband and you got a husband that is really sensible and knows and is aware, you know what I mean? If Lord forbid that we are missing meals and things of that nature, but it's not, oh, your father eats and y'all don't eat. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
that, you know what I mean, that rule. There's certain things that are being understood, you know what I mean, in all of that, when you really understand the hierarchy. And it is a hierarchy because God does come first, but God is not this God where it's like, I don't care about nothing else, give me these sacrifices and the heck with whatever else is going on. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
give unto me first so that there may be meat in my house. You know what I mean? And prove me now and see that you will not have windows of blessings that I won't have, that you won't have room enough to receive. He said he'll pour out windows of blessings that you don't have room enough to receive. You are to give him the first fruits, you know what I mean, so that he can bless us, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. And it all goes back to that, you know, thou shalt not have any other God before me. And going back to their point, people put their children over everything else and forsake the relationship. And yes, that can jack the relationship up. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is broken only for me. I'm not self-projecting. The covenant is broken when it goes the other way. Of course, if I'm married and my husband says, you know, it's only you know, one person gets to eat and it's three of
Share
us,
the screen,
I'm sure
babe.
both of us are going to equally agree it's the child.
Right.
You don't
But when
need to
it
see.
comes to making sure our relationship is healthy, which is really the healthiness of the environment for our child, and for me, my value is only my husband comes first and I come first. And I find in my session of 17 years, Nick, there's been many more men than women who come in and say that the relationship failed. And if you look at divorce rate statistics of when divorce happens, it's after that first child.
Yeah.
It's after,
They
because
should have never got married in the first
probably
place.
so, but also because, you know, whoever it was, and from my experience, it has been the woman. We're not knocking women, but it's been the woman more who has placed the child first and totally dissipated the man out the relationship.
Only reason why I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this, Doc,
It's okay.
is because if we're talking life,
Yeah.
these children did not ask to be here.
Right.
They are our responsibilities.
100%.
As individuals, I can't put my desires and my happiness, or I shouldn't,
right,
over someone that I am responsible for. So even I'm not even talking about putting food on the table and all. I'm talking about, we're talking about mental, physical, and spiritual well-being in a household. I'm not, and again, this is pretty heavy.
Have you ever run over and check on yourself?
Oh, that's so crazy. What else?
These new ads are out of control.
Because one, I grew up with it, and I'm a product of it, and I'm producing it.
Yeah.
When an adult,
I know what I'm gonna do going forward with that. I'm gonna just pause it because I'm so seriously trying not to edit this. I just want to put it out.
It's saying, you know, mama gotta live too. Mama need her man. Daddy gonna do his thing. I'll be back. When those mentalities are presented to a child,
that's a different mentality.
That's where abandonment issues surface, and where a child feels like I'm not good enough in that sense because they made decisions for themselves before they made decisions for me. And children pick up on that at a very early age. So I much rather say, it ain't about your mama right now. I'm rocking with you. And say that to my child as much as possible, even if that hurts mama's feelings. To me, at least, because I know that child is going to grow up with a certain level of self-worth that they didn't feel like daddy put work before me, daddy put women before me, daddy put whatever before me. If I can instill anything into my own children, is that you are my number one priority. Even all that I do is for you. Every dollar that I make is going to you. So again, I'm pretty sure people in the comments going to debate, have different things.
What are your thoughts? Because I got thoughts.
I don't know his dynamic with his children,
My Lord.
but he set it up horribly.
Mm.
You can't preach something that you don't live. I
Okay.
don't believe you, sir. That's just my personal, like, you can't say you didn't put women before the children because you double back. You went and had more kids out of wedlock deliberately. Y'all came into these agreements. You did it. You duplicated this pattern more than 3 times. So it's like, I don't understand how you can have this cognitive level of thinking to say, yeah, this is what you need to do for your kids as a parent. And you're not doing that necessarily. Like, yeah, the money is going here and there. That's fine. But that doesn't excuse that you are not present in the manner that in which you should be present.
Mm.
So, coming from like a perspective of a mother, that ain't enough. Because you can't be everywhere all at once. So you can say, yeah, forget your mama, I'm rocking with you. But mom is there all day. So you can't say forget mom because baby is already seeing that you ain't rocking with mom because you're not there and she is. Now, from the mother's perspective, they might be okay with it. They might, that it is like whatever that situation is. I hope that they're like instilling something different in their children to know that, hey, like, don't accept what I accepted, but I'm glad that you're here. But no, I don't. I think that he just kind of like null and voided the whole conversation. Like, it's kind of hard to, yeah.
Yeah. I also think there was a clip, good stuff. There was a clip that I saw earlier this morning of him saying that he had been diagnosed by multiple psychologists as a narcissist.
Okay.
And you know how oftentimes how narcissism is birthed? By doing exactly what he just said. Making everything about the child. And I'm not sure if it was in this video or not, because like I said, it was a clip and it looked like a different setting. I don't know. But that is a large way in how so narcissism can be birthed in 2 ways, like when there's too much attention paid to a child and when there's not enough attention paid to a child.
Okay.
And that is what he is. That is the road that he is going down in this example that he's giving. You are not supposed to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you are not supposed to do the things that he said where, oh, well, everything else, be whatever, because, I'm putting you first all the time. You first. I'm thinking about you before everything else. Da 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 da. You are going to breed a terrible person in this world.
Yes.
Everything, and you give them a false sense of reality that everything revolves around them.
Yep.
And it does not. There are sometimes when that's why there are sometimes I'm like, no, figure it out.
Yeah.
No, go and play. No, I know that you want to be up on me right now. It's all good. Go ahead and play. You know what I mean? And it's good that people aren't paying you attention right now.
Yes.
That is important. You are going to breed a narcissist, or at least a person that has been disenfranchised by the amount of attention that they've been given all their life. You are preparing them for a rude awakening in this world, at the very least. And so, yeah, no, you're not supposed to do that. There was something that he said that kind of made me go, that I wanted to address as well. And I forgot. I'm gonna run it back just a smidge.
Okay.
Children pick up on that at a very early age. So I much rather say, it ain't about your mama right now. I'm rocking with you. And say that to my child as much as possible, even if that hurts mama's feelings. to me, at least, because I know that child is going to grow up with a certain level of self-worth that
they're going to grow up with an oversized sense of self-worth.
Yep. And
And
entitlement.
yes, and the mother, you shouldn't do that to the detriment of. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Thank you, Lord. You shouldn't do that to the detriment of your relationship. Your mother gonna feel a type of way, but that's hard. No, y'all need to come to a level of understanding and a level of agreement that y'all are gonna do this. You know what I mean? To where y'all can come to where, okay, I'm understanding what's happening, and so I'm not upset. There needs to be a conversation. His focus is being, that's why Nick Cannon is not married. That's why he has 12 children, because he's thinking like a father, right? But he's not thinking like a husband.
Right. Yeah.
I knew I was like, Lord, I need you to change certain things in me, because I know that I'm built to be a dad, but I need you to make me built to be a husband. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
children, because of stuff that's going on in my life, right? But like you know what I mean, I've needed the Lord, and I need the Lord to tweak certain things in me so that I can be husband focused, so that I can be wife focused. Because if I'm a better husband, I am going to be a better father. But I found in turn that, you know, there are certain qualities that go hand in hand with both things, right? And so, but back to what I was saying in this regard, when he talks about that, sir, your children are going to grow up, and they're not going to want to be around you all the time. They're going to have lives of their own. And what you've done in this scenario that you're bringing up is a life that revolves around your children. So when they go off and leave and do their own thing and have their own lives, you are not going to know what to do, and you are going to go crazy if you are not prepared for it. And you won't be prepared for it. And so ultimately, one day, Lord willing, it is just going to be you and your wife in that household, no matter how many children that you have. And y'all going to be sitting there like, now what? I don't know you. We have better relationship. We have better relationships with our children than we have with one another. The thing is, people, they want to raise kids when they should be trying to raise adults.
That is very true. That's very true.
People are trying to raise kids, people that will be with them forever, love them forever. You are crippling them before they can even walk, doing the things that he is mentioning right here.
Yeah.
This is damaging.
And he's creating an atmosphere that is teaching his boys to not respect women and just give them babies and move on, and just not be present, because they're going to be like, that's what my dad, that's what a dad is, and everybody knows him, so it's excusable. And he's going to teach the daughters to have low self-worth. He thinks that he's giving them a sense of a high sense of knowing self, but that also is a bad thing too, of that whole knowing yourself. I know myself. I have a high sense of knowing myself, and you're not seeking something higher than that puts you in a level of humiliation so that you can grow. So if you think you know everything, if you're raised like you think you know everything, or that you should know everything, that's where, like you said, those traits start kicking in, and it's like, yeah, you're unteachable. I can't do anything with that. Yeah. Should have stuck to Wild Now.
He continue. He is wilding out.
Wild Now.
Didn't feel like daddy put work before me. Daddy put women before me. Daddy put whatever before me. If I can instill anything into my own children, is that you are my number one priority. Even all that I do is for you. Every dollar that I make is going to you. So again, I'm pretty sure people in the comments going to debate, have different things, like, and even we all have different experiences. But every time I see an adult put their happiness,
but you're describing more of an adult saying, "I'm gonna do me at the expense of you."
Even in a marriage,
because that's what I'm saying. Even in a marriage, but we're not talking about the level of I'm gonna do me at the expense of your needs. I'm gonna do me for my pleasures,
because we do that as humans.
But
let her talk.
That's narcissistic.
Sheesh, I see it in the clips where he don't let her talk. I'm like, dang, she can't even finish her sentence without him jumping in. That does not make for a good host, let
And
alone
stop
a good
inviting
person.
me. Right. Don't
And
invite
stop
me on the
inviting me.
show if I can't
You must,
speak.
you must pay well because he keep coming back.
You got to.
And I'm like, I wish I had the patience that she has because she don't. It's like it doesn't even bother her.
Yeah. And you know why I think that? I think because she's a doctor and she knows.
He's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops.
Healthy family dynamic takes balance, and it's very unhealthy for a child to feel like they are number one above authority, because what happens is they grow up to then disrespect authority, which we entitled, and they grow up with this narcissistic type of personality, even if they're not diagnosed with it, and then you have
spoiled brats.
And then you,
so they saying what I'm saying.
Well, entitlement and narcissism. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they saying what I'm saying. Okay.
You might be a doctor too.
I'm not. I'm definitely not.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, but God has given me a certain level of wisdom for sure. So
yes, amen to that.
You have these kids who don't respect when law enforcement pulls them over. We have an issue. They're going to school and these teachers can't even get them to sit still enough because they're so used to being number one and things going their way. No. Listen, the first place a child should get their feelings hurt by hearing no, or the first place a child should see that you are not always number one is circumstantial, should be at home, because life is going to teach you that you are not always going to be the butter cake of everybody's dessert. Nick, I'm sorry. So, but what I'm saying, then what that does is that creates that emptiness that I'm going to poke at you again, that emptiness and that sense of inadequacy within you because you were groomed in a certain way that life can't maintain. And so what happens is you're number one and you're the golden child and all these things. It happens with athletes. Then you go into the real world after you retire and everything shatters. Now you got depression, your suicidal ideations,
but they still accomplish things that most people will never accomplish and experience great experience because we told them how great they were from the beginning. We instilled in them that we're going to support you all the way along your ride so you can not only reach the levels that you want, so you can reach back and then get the rest of the family.
We will support you along your ride. That does not mean that kid doesn't understand balance, that there's a thing called boundaries that our community doesn't seem to have, probably because of that dynamic. The boundary goes, baby, we've been at your football game, your soccer game, your ballerina game, daddy and I all day. It's 9 o'clock. It's shutdown time. There's a boundary where it's time where this is our time, and you're teaching your child how to grow up and not be a narcissist that then needs his woman or her man to put them first over everything, which is a fairy tale and unrealistic. You're teaching them the balance between, we are a family dynamic. There's times that daddy's going to come first. There's times that mama's going to come first. And there's times that you come first. But what we do is we teach that so that it becomes more of a wholesome type of feel, not me. And the moment you don't get me, you flee because you can't sit in your emotions of hearing no, because you got to control things to keep things the way you need it, which is called codependency. So what you describe is then creating a codependent child that says, if I'm not the center, guess what? Fuck all this because I'm not the center.
This is why we have documentaries of parents and kids doing things to their parents that put them in the news. That reason right there. My goodness. She
right.
She went crazy.
She right.
All right, Dr. Bryant. And I feel like you can see it on his face too. Like he's eating it up, but it's not sticking. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
But that's the thing. Because when you're a narcissist, you feel like you're the exception and not the rule.
But
it gotta be the understanding that in the dynamic.
Kids create. We grow up to, if we don't do the work, right, and get a sense of self, we grow up to create the exact environment we learn to thrive or survive in. Period. That's all we know. We can't create past what we know. That's why experience teaches, words don't. So if our child or my child or your beautiful kids are always at the center of you, and she grows up and gets a man who cannot, he's a great man, but she can't be the center, because what if he got kids like you and them kids are the center?
She need to pick better.
She may have to pick better. but just say she has someone who can't give her that same treatment, and that's her norm. You have to be realistic about, or should I say aware about, what norms am I creating for my kids? What? No, and I'm saying because listen, I'm a product of what you're saying. I was the golden child. I was the child that came first.
And look at you.
But I had to work through a lot of BS.
But we all do. We all have challenges. We all come with some shit, and that's why we're even right now we're discussing a very small percentage.
But this is the thing that goes on in the black culture and the black community that I don't appreciate. We all got problems. We all got this and that going on. Like, bro, we know that life has a way of doling issues out, right? But as a parent and as a good parent, you want to shield your child from as many issues as you possibly can, right? Now, there are some things where it's like, man, they just gonna have to learn from that, right? So that wouldn't be one of the ones where you would shield them from. But the ones like the unnecessary lessons that they don't have to learn, you just don't want to let them learn that. So this would be one of those things where I'm not going to make you this narcissist to where you think the world revolves around you. It absolutely does not. You are doing your child a disservice. So the fact that you think that this is an okay problem to have because they're going to be so great and all of that type of stuff, they might not. They might have all of this greatness working at a warehouse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It might, and not saying that they not still great, is that they might not be everybody might not see the star that they are. There's some people that are stars that don't even have greatness. So you can be great and not and the world still not see you for who you are. You still have to go through life.
Yeah.
This is not good. This is not good, but that's what it is, right? Because here's what I think. I think that like she said, there's a hole inside of him. I think even with all that he got, all that his parents gave him, it still wasn't enough. So when there is a hole, you become insatiable. The thing that is supposed to fill it is now the thing that was supposed to fill it in your younger years is now no longer there to be able to fill it. So everything else that you are trying to put inside to fill it can now never fill it because now you become insatiable in regards to it. Because again, the thing that needed to satiate it is no longer available to you. And so now you try to put that stuff into your children, where in many ways you're trying to relive your childhood through your children.
Yep. And then also, like, to say, oh, she just should pick better. You're raising your daughters to literally not pick better. The mothers that you've chosen are because you didn't pick better and they didn't pick better.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you're putting yourself in a situation where your children are going to rely on you when they get older, when they become adults, because you are the center of their world, even though you say it's them. You're not setting them up for them to be independent. You're setting them up to be reliant on you. You're setting them up to be to continue to get like where you have to be their source of like, make me feel better, make me like a validation. You have to be their source of validation where when they get to the age where they can start validating themselves, they're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
And they're going to look at you for that approval every time. And if they don't satisfy you to your standards, which are going to be higher than you understand your kids to be, sometimes they're not going to be perfect. Now they're gonna go through the people pleasing stage. They're gonna go through all these different cycles that are unnecessary, like she was saying, like you were saying, because you are the sun and they're the other planets.
Yep. Nick.
The people, because if we keep it a stack,
right,
we all done been through some shit.
Oh yeah, all of us, yeah.
And it only makes us stronger in that sense, to where when we know how to handle something,
it doesn't always make you stronger. Sometimes it breaks you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has no empathy.
Why are you saying that?
Just because it's like it's a dismiss, like, yes, we've all been through some stuff. We're very well aware of that, but it's dismissive to say, like you said, it's dismissive to say like, yeah, whatever, we all been through some stuff. Nick Cannon, honestly, bro, the stuff we seen you go through, We haven't we seen you go through whatever I mean, besides, I think
We
he had
seen you go through
lupus, if
stuff
you
that you
didn't.
put yourself through.
You put yourself in those situations and you're still thriving, if you will. So it's like,
Yeah.
no, with all due respect, even when he was on Wild 'N Out, like he made himself this, like it's his show, rightfully so. But he
Mhm.
made it known that I'm gonna embarrass you before you embarrass me to other grown adults.
Mhm.
This is my show. I'm docking your pay this week as a joke when reality, like, I don't know.
Well,
I
Nick
still
Cannon not funny. So like that's what you
no.
guys do when you're not funny. So, I
Yeah,
expect that.
threaten people's livelihoods.
Mhm. People go for the jugular when they're not funny. I noticed that.
Honestly, I think that he called her for the interview after watching the one with Cam Newton because I think he enjoyed that interview with her and between her and Cam Newton because he's carrying I feel like he's trying to carry the same mannerisms that Cam Newton carried in the interview. Just not as alpha E, if you will. You know what I mean? Because they kind of have the same background, they doing the same things, but I feel like he's like, yeah, let me get her on my show so I can play her mind games too. You know?
Well, I'm pretty sure somebody in the comments was like, she need to go talk to Nick Cannon. And
Probably so.
he was like, all right, cool. Let's do it. Then
I
she
think
pretty,
he's
you know what I mean? And
secretly
then she
I mean, she
drives
is, yeah.
she drives numbers, you know what I mean? So it's all about that. It's a numbers game more than anything.
That's true too.
But yeah, I agree.
And adversity builds character in that sense.
That's what I was going to say. It's more important for kids to see the family dynamic, whether it's together or not, process through things that may be uncomfortable for them as well, and get to a resolve collectively than it is for them to be blinded with the fairy tale perspective or perception that's going to form that I'm always number one or I'm using number one. And so that's kind of how life is going to life with me, because that kid won't know how to process the reality of what life does. Even when you reach the pinnacle of life and you get titles and success and all that. Look, that uphill climb is a mug, boy. And that uphill climb will show you what you came from or what you built. And also it'll show you what environment you were put. I came from a very adverse environment. So that's why I was able to catapult, because I didn't know where I was running to. I knew I was running from though.
Yeah.
So I put them track shoes on. They're still on. You may see heels today, but them track shoes are never unlaced because I'm still running from something. Right. And I just happened to run into a lot of amazing opportunities and things and people and blessings and work and healing. I got blessed to run into that by default and by choice. But if a child,
it's called God's favor,
baby. But we have to be very, very, very aware. From being in my field, of the norm we're creating for our babies, and of course it's better to be involved and cause whatever chaos you're going to cause than have children have daddy issues or mommy issues, meaning you're just not there at all.
But I think you're going to have both.
Yeah, you're going to have both too.
We all got
but
daddy
there's different
issues,
levels.
all got mama issues.
But there's different levels to it, though, Nick. There's different levels to it.
But at the end of the day, because I'm not a fan of Freud's perspective, is that it all comes from some reverting back to your childhood and some, because we need to stop making those excuses and blaming mama and daddy
100%.
for who we are.
100%.
You can blame mama and daddy for the cause, but you can't blame them for the effect.
There you go. Or your choices later on once you become an adult.
I blame them for you not knowing that you need to scuff the bottom of your shoes. Like, who should I blame in that instant? That's something you should have learned in your childhood.
Yeah, it's giving daddy issues.
Yeah.
Understand, like, yo, I went through some shit, but now I'm gonna be.
But that's why mental health therapy, coaching, psychologists, seeing that,
like the fact that you think that we impressed by the red bottoms because they're red bottoms, and so much so that you don't know that you need to have grip on the bottom of your shoes. You slipping and sliding across that studio.
He might take them off and just walk barefoot. You never know.
Right. That's feminine. Is my point. Who do I need to blame then?
It's the slippery slide.
Mm-hmm. It's a slippery slope indeed.
Going to it. I go to one myself as a doctor. Everyone needs to be in it because it's not about us as a profession professional telling you your choices were right or wrong. It's about us helping you figure out the root of that choosing and the norm that you're in, and just drawing out a plan that works for where you want to be. Because a lot of people are still in the environment that they don't want to be in, because that's the childhood environment they've taken with them, and they keep recreating the same pathology, and they're going crazy in that. There's lack in that because the evolution hasn't taken place. And it's not because they don't want to evolve, Nick. It's because they don't have the effective tools to do so. People who come in my session are not there saying, I always just wanted to be messed up. I don't want to evolve. No, they're saying, like, had I known this, doc, 5 years ago, I swear to God, I would have moved on it. Had I had this tool, I would have moved quicker. Had I knew this is what evolution looked like, I would have jumped a long time ago. Had I known I can jump without a life jacket, but I felt safe within myself, I would have been a professional jumper. Right? People just need to know, how do I do it? And one thing we all want to know is that we're going to be okay when we do. Everybody just wants to be okay in whatever they're doing and wherever they're going. Will I be okay?
Right.
Well, like what?
Man, and here's another thing. Like, here's what's important. You don't get a second chance to mess up your kids.
Nope. You sure don't.
We know that we gonna mess them up, but you want them to be as little messed up as possible. That is the goal for any parent. Yo, I want to do the best that I possibly can do for this child. We know that they gonna have issues and stuff that I'm sure my kid's gonna come back to me one day and say, Dad, you did da 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 da. I didn't appreciate that you did this and that, and I want to be able to tell them and look them in the face like, I hear you. I did the best that I could with what I had at the time.
Right.
We did the best with what we did the best we could with the resources that we had. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's stuff that there's some issues that I had with my parents, but it's nothing like, oh, we didn't have enough this. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have enough money for this, or I wanted this game and you wouldn't get this game. It's not stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's stuff, you know what I mean? Of course, I went through those type of things. You know what I mean? But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm really talking about how you know, those things that hit to the core, those things that really matter, those things that can really jack up a person, those things like, man, they said this and that, and you know what I mean? And then having an understanding that your parents are growing too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying my parents were super young when they had me, but they had me when they were 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, like, dang, I remember when I was 20. I don't remember when I was 27, but I know that I didn't know everything at 27.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know that I still, looking back on it, I know I still had some growing to do at 27. You know what I'm saying? So it's that level of grace that you have to have for them, for yourself, and for them as well, right? So, but my point is, we all going to jack up. If as parents, we all are going to jack up at some point in time. The goal is not to say, well, I know I'm going to jack up, so it's okay if they jacked up. It's to have the foresight and have the understanding. Well, I need to be as fastidious as possible to help, with the Lord's help, to help create and cultivate the best person that I possibly can. I need to steward this person well. I'm stewarding a gift from God. How should I treat this gift that God has given me? I need to treat it like a gift, right? But it's a gift. It's not to be worshiped. It's a gift. And what Nick is implying is worship, whether he knows it or not. You come first. No, you do not come first. That's where that hierarchy comes back into play. God, your spouse, your children.
Yeah. And
Because
I feel like,
go ahead.
go ahead. I feel like also because you can't be everywhere at once, there's a sense of neglect that your kids are going to feel. So then when you do come in, the only thing that you're establishing is, I ain't worried about your mama. I'm focused on you. You're being the good guy in a position, you're putting yourself in a position where I'm the good guy whenever I come around. And when you see me, I'm making it all about you. And then you leave the mom to do the dad work.
And vice versa. If you are a mom that does that.
Yep, absolutely.
Mom was all about me and dad wasn't. Not knowing that dad is probably at work working his butt off for you. You know what I mean? But
Right.
It's with children, it's out of sight, out of mind. They don't care about what you gotta do. They don't care about money, they don't care about none of that. What they focused on is who is there to help me. You know what I mean? Who is there to be with me? Who's there?
Right.
That's whoever is there the most, that's who cares about me the most. That's what they think. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people they play on that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also not true. So if you are watching this and you are dealing with that and you felt like that and you feel like that this and that parent wasn't there, look at what they were doing for you. Okay, there's more than one way to parent. I mean, there are some parents, they feel like this is the best route to go, right? Oh man, I wasn't there for you, but I gave you the best home that you could have. We didn't live in the projects. We lived in a mansion. You know what I mean? But you worked all the time. Yeah, but I felt like this was the best way to parent you. People are working with and let me not say everyone, but a lot of people that really care about their children are really just doing the best that they know how to
That's
do.
true.
And people think that parenting is giving a child what they didn't have. Parent. That's not always what makes a good parent. Giving you if I give you everything that I didn't have, there's such thing as too much of a good thing is a bad thing. You know what I mean? If I I'm gonna give you all the games because I didn't have any games growing up. Or I'm gonna let you hang out all late at night because my mom never let me hang out late at night. That's not parenting.
Yeah.
That's not parenting. Again, you trying to live vicariously and you gonna spoil your child. And I mean that literally. Where do you think the word spoil comes from? There is moderation that needs to take place. There is really understanding what is the good bacteria and what is the bad bacteria.
That's good. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Whether you there or you not, Doc, will I be okay?
Right.
And they're only able to be okay when you teach people a sense of self, meaning who are you? How do you govern you? How do you manage, which is a better word for control, manage who you are? And how do you produce the experience you want? Because you don't create my experience, I do. I already came here with the experience I want. Right. You can't create that for me. You already came here with the experience you want. That's the self-mastery of knowing how to create that. And when you have that type of knowledge, you'll never be perfect, but you can somewhat try to create a norm for your child. But once they become adults like you and I did, they go and do what they're going to do anyways. So at that point, you've done what you can do. And if you're not in more of a polyamorous, relationship like you are, and you're more monogamous one-on-one, you're hoping that you put your partner first enough to where y'all still have a damn relationship and you guys can continue to lead by example to your grown children on what a healthy relationship looks like. And it's not perfection. Another thing is this whole toxicity and dysfunctional thing, and I'm leaving this person because they're toxic. You're going to be alone. Not you, I'm saying people. You're going to be by your damn self, because let me explain something to you. If you get someone who's not toxic, it's because they're not human. In every relationship,
that's what I was saying in our first session.
Yes, every relationship has some level of healthy dysfunction and some level of healthy toxicity. There's no way for you and I to cleave together without doing some of this bumping. Right. It's not going to work like that. So we have to be okay with doing this. But the only recipe to a long-term successful relationship is to never leave. To never leave. That's the only way you can get 30, 40 years. To never leave. Yeah. Because we're going to go through some things. And there's going to be a lot of things that I say, this is it. This is the non-negotiable, right? But if I really am in it to be in it forever, like from the beginning, before I meet a man, I'm saying when I commit, I'm just doing this forever. That means I'm signing up and forgiving you before you do any of the bullshit you may come with. And that's challenging, but that's what real commitment is. Commitment is I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, no matter how I feel. That goes back to what? Emotional intelligence.
Right.
Emotional intelligence is a nucleus to any healthy relationship. If I'm committing to you and you piss me off, I've committed to stay. So where am I going? Where am I going? Doesn't mean I can't take a break. Doesn't mean I can't take a pivot. I can't go to brunch. I can't meditate. Can I take a weekend of woosah? But that means I'm not leaving you. And as an abandoned woman, thank God I've evolved into a place of deeper than just not leaving you, meaning leaving the relationship. But I've also had to learn to not leave you in this emotion of distraught, because leaving you while you're in your emotion is the pit of abandonment. That's worse than me walking out and returning. I should be able to sit in this with you, upset or not upset, until our emotions do whatever they're going to do and we get back to baseline. Right. Because that is the epitome of deliverance. That's the epitome of commitment. Abandonment is, you know what? I can't deal with my emotions, so screw yours, I'm out of here. And when I feel I'm okay and I've regulated, because I don't know how to do it, I'll come back. But it's still...
What are your thoughts on that? You got thoughts on that?
The toxic part, right?
All right. Well, hold that thought, because we'll do a part 2.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll be done. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If we made you laugh, cry, or informed you on anything at all during this episode, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. I personally would love to hear what you have to say. If you are already subscribed, check us out on Patreon.com/Fresh Air Media and become a patron for even more content. The link is in the description. Peace.